Good morning, you're watching Market Cafe with me, Shreyansi Singh and me, Motiwala, and over the next full hour, we'll take you through news and updates within the country as well as across the globe. Winnie, first up, let's get started by looking at the US handover then.
Absolutely. Looking at the US handover, at least the stock futures this morning, they are a little unchanged. There's not much happening in terms of the change for the US stock futures. But overall, what we saw in terms of a close that came in yesterday, yes, surely we were shut as an Indian market. But US markets were open. S&P 500 managed to close with gains of almost 0.8% in trade. We saw Nasdaq that saw gains of almost 1.5%. So yes, something that we kept an eye out on was, because of the CPI data that came in, we're keeping an eye out on the US data. Though Dow Jones, when you look at the Dow Jones, that was very subdued in trade, ended very flat, maybe a slight bit of a negative bias is what we could say that came in for the Dow Jones index. Now, moving on, when you talk about Apple, also that saw a very strong rally. So yes, that's what we're keeping an eye out on. Apple shares jumped as much as 4.3% overall, and this came in after some plans were released by the company. They saw the best ever gain that one could see for the stock since May 2023. Nvidia also jumped as much as 4%. So yes, stocks were something that was buzzing in trade. Nvidia, Amazon, Apple, all of them buzzing, and that's keeping the Nasdaq, kept the Nasdaq on the positive side. More than 1% gain, 1.5% gain for the Nasdaq. Also, when you look at it, obviously in terms of the CPI data, that's what everyone kept an eye out on. We have a lot of earnings that will be coming out in the US market today as well. JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, BlackRock numbers as well as Wells Fargo's numbers expected today in the US market. So that's something everyone is keeping an eye out on. Looking at the European markets, they did close before the US markets. In trade, European markets closed lower after ECB holds the steady rate came in. There was commentary that came in from Christine Lagarde as well. Yes, that's keeping the European markets a bit subdued, where the DAX, FTSE both seeing a decline of 0.5% to 1% in trade. CAC remained unchanged. Interesting to watch out for how the Indian markets will open, because Nifty implied as of now, Shansi clearly indicating a negative start, at least when you look at the Nifty implied open.
Absolutely, and one thing that I can't look away from is definitely the sparkling rally, because what has it done, right? Because what a rally it has been. When you look at gold prices, they firmed after softer than expected US producer prices. Data boosted hopes for US cuts this year, while when you look at persistent geopolitical concerns, they also added to the metal's shine as well. So spot gold rose 1.7%. It was around that 2,300 mark, and it on Tuesday it also hit an all-time high for an 8th straight session. So that's the kind of move that we've seen coming in for gold. But when you look at crude oil futures fell on Thursday as worries about inflation overshadowed fears of a potential Iranian strike on Israel. Furthermore, so when you look at WTI, then that lost about 1.3%, settled around that $85 a barrel mark, and Brent as well fell just about 0.8%, settled around that $89 a barrel mark as well. Oil prices rose more than 1% on Wednesday, and that was after reports came in about US and its allies seeing an Iranian strike against Israel as imminent. Now, Tehran has threatened retaliation against Israel over the destruction of its consulate in Damascus and Syria in a missile strike. So, US crude and global benchmark as well are down about 1.8% and 1.4% respectively. Those are the kind of moves that we've seen this week. A recent rally on geopolitical tensions has cooled off slightly. Let's keep it with oil, and OPEC remains optimistic about.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.